Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. First time feels like in forever I haven't uploaded something, but we are back. NFL season starting this coming Sunday, and it's time for some predictions for week number 1. And we're going to do a little bit differently. So we're going to start off with going through the betting lines for each game, predicting the winner and if they will cover or not. So let's get started. So the first game we're going to be going into Eagles and the Falcons. That's going to be on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. And the line for the game, Atlanta is a 3.5-point favorite against the Eagles. Now, I think this is a very close contested game, but I like Atlanta's offense in this game. I think Atlanta will cover and win this game against the Eagles. Moving on to the next game, this is the Steelers and the Bills. Probably the most intriguing matchup in week 1, especially the one I'm looking forward to. Obviously, other than the Chiefs the most. So I think that this is a really key game to watch. So the line for this game, Buffalo 6.5-point favorites over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Bills, I don't think they cover in this match. I think it's closer than what the line thinks. So I'm going to say Buffalo by 3 in this game. So Buffalo wins it by 3. Now, the Vikings and the Bengals. This is a very intriguing game because the Vikings and the Bengals are two teams that are really kind of one of the newer phases. So you have the Vikings really with Kirk Cousins, questionable quarterback in my opinion, and then you have the Bengals with a young quarterback, Joe Burrow, coming off his season-ending ACL injury last year. Also still young in his career. Don't know what he's going to be like. Line for the game is Vikings 3.5-point favorites against the Bengals on the road. And I think that, sadly, I think the underdogs get it here. So I think the Bengals will pull the upset here. The Vikings will not win this game, and they will win this game by a last-minute field goal just because of the way the teams are playing and the way they're coming into the season. But the next very intriguing game, which is the next game, is going to be the Niners and the Lions. Now, the Niners and the Lions, this is a very intriguing game. So you have the Lions who are coming in with Jared Goff at quarterback, coming from the Rams and sending Matt Stafford over to the Rams via trade. And then the Niners, who are a team that really came off of a really, I would say, just desperate season last year. A lot of players injured, a lot of players coming back from injury, especially on the defensive line with like Nick Bosa. And I think really when you go into just the X's and O's of this game, I just got to give it to the Niners, who are 8-point favorites, and I think they will cover by 8 points in this game because just that defense coming back. I think the Lions will keep it close for a little bit of time, but I think they will pull away and win by 8 at the end of the game. So Niners do cover and win by 8 in this game. The next game, which is the next 1 o'clock game, will be the Cardinals and the Titans. Now, the Cardinals and the Titans is a very intriguing game. Titans, who I think, honestly, who I think could really win the AFC South other than the Colts. I mean, the Colts, I think, are definitely going to be the team to beat now that Carson Wentz is back. But I do think that the Cardinals, this is the year they got to bring it. This is the year that Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray been with each other, third year in the program here. So I think that Cardinals have got to show up in this game. Now, they're 3-point underdogs in this game. Tennessee is a 3-point favorite. But I do think, I just got this nagging feeling inside me that the Cardinals will win this game. I think that Kyler Murray will show up week number 1 on the road as 3-point underdogs, and they will win it by 3. So I think that even though that the Cardinals are underdogs in this game, I think that they very much are very poised to really show up and actually pull off an upset based on betting lines here. So I think that the Cardinals will win this game by 3 on the road against the Titans. And then the next big NFC West team is the Seahawks visiting the Colts at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Seahawks are only 3-point favorites in this game, which I really like this line for the Colts because I think that the Colts are really in a position. We didn't know what Carson Wentz was looking like. He was injured in the offseason and didn't know what his stats was going to be like. Now he's officially on the field for week number 1, so he will be in there behind under center for the Colts. And I think that the Seahawks could be in for a bit of a test this game, especially that defense. Now Carson Wentz under center, a lot of those weapons, and of course Jonathan Taylor, a couple of those other guys in the backfield. I think that the Colts will keep it close, but I have the Seahawks barely edging them out here by a single point here this coming Sunday. So the Seahawks do not cover, but do win by 1 point on Sunday. So the next game, which we are going to cover, is going to be the Chargers and Washington. So this is a really, I think, just really anybody's game here. Two really not necessarily on the upside teams, and I think that especially the line says it all. I mean, it's almost a pick'em game. Washington is only a 1-point favorite in this game, and I just think just by a pick of a coin here, I really like any team to win here. I think that Washington, just because that defense will get it here, But I do think that they will cover in this game as well. So they will win by 2 against the Chargers. And the next game here, wrapping up the 1 p.m. games here, is the Jets and the Panthers. I think is a very just minimal thing to say here. Panthers 4-point favorites. Easily, I think, are going to cover in this game. I think Sam Darnold will play a lot better against his former team. So I have the Darnold and the Panthers easily covering by 8 points in this game against the Jets. Now, the last 1 o'clock game, which is an AFC South divisional rival here, is going to be Jaguars and the Texans in Houston. Jaguars are 3-point favorites in this game against the Texans. And I think that one of the most important things about this game is going to be how Trevor Lawrence shows up. I really want to see how he is going to show up in his first game as a regular season starter. But I think that the Texans, even though they have really no one at quarterback, they're still going to somewhat, for some reason, keep it close. I know people could easily disagree with me here. Just because it is a divisional game, I have this feeling that they're going to play a little bit tougher, even though Watson is not under quarterback. So I think that even though the Jaguars are 3-point favorites and people are going to think they're easily going to cover in this game, I think the Jaguars still will not easily cover, but will cover in this game. They will win by 3 points over the Texans here, just because of the divisional rival aspect. I think they could probably maybe keep it close here. Now, the 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific games starting up. The first game is the Browns visiting the Chiefs right here. So the Chiefs, 5.5-point favorites in this game. Now, here's what I will say about this game. I have this nagging feeling inside me. I've seen the injuries on the team. This is the team that I root for. Frank Clark and Derek Natty, both questionable for this game. Very key players here. We've seen just in the offseason, you've had Clyde Edwards-Helaire going down in the preseason. We've also had a couple other guys that have really also led the team. It's a bit of a new face offensive line. The left side is a lot more older than the right side, especially with Orlando Brown and Joe Thuney on that left side. And then, of course, Henry Humphrey under center. I think that's what his name is, but Humphrey under center. That I think that he really will be a big test just to see what this line will be like in this game. But I think that the Browns are going to cover in this game. I think that the Browns are going to not win this game. I think the Chiefs will win this game, but they will only win by 3 points. So the Chiefs will not cover in this game, but I do think the Chiefs will snag it out here at the end of the game. Now, at the Dolphins and Patriots AFC East matchup in Foxborough, Patriots 3-point favorites in this game. Here's what I think. Am I high on Mac Jones? I'm not super high on him. I think he has great potential, but I'm not really on the super high Max Jones train. I think that, especially I've seen this Dolphins team play, especially what they did last year, that defense. I think that if their defense could just make a couple stops, just force some turnovers, they could keep themselves within this game. Do I think they're going to win this game? I do not think so. I have the Patriots winning this game, but only by 1 point. They are not going to cover, even though it is a 3-point line and only 3-point favorites in this game. I think they will not cover, and they will only win by 1 point here. So that's what that matchup will look like there. Wrapping up the 4:25 matchups here, the Packers and the Saints in Jacksonville because of Hurricane Ida, the situation there. So the Packers and the Saints. Aaron Rodgers, of course, back. I don't think the Saints, especially with that breeze, are going to be the same. So 3.5-point favorites are the Packers in this game. Packers easily cover. They're going to win by 10 over the Saints in this game. Now, the Broncos and the Giants, an AFC West team versus NFC East. I think the Broncos are a very intriguing team. I think that of the teams that I think could really stick closest to the Chiefs, I think that it is the Broncos. However, I did think the other big question in this game is going to be, how is Saquon Barkley going to come back? I think that, especially with him being out last year, I had a lot of questions. I mean, ever since basically he came back, I think that he was really a just really big question mark on that team. I think that, especially with Saquon coming back, I want to see what he's like. And I think that it's going to be a very intriguing line. Now, the line for this game is only 3-point favorites for Denver. I have the Giants beating them here. I, for some reason, think the Giants are going to go in at home in the home opener, and I think they're going to upset them by 3 points. Very controversial pick here, I think, but what I think really is going to motivate this team. I think Saquon is going to be back. I know there's a big question mark around him, but I think he will be there for the Giants. Now, the Sunday night game, Bears at the Rams. This is a very intriguing game. Now, Matthew Stafford and his new offense. We were saying, oh, he's a great quarterback. He just needs the pieces behind him. He finally has the pieces behind him. Big question is, will he be able to execute behind under center there? Well, I think he will. They're 7.5-point favorites in this game. I think they will win by 9 in this game over the Bears. I think Bears just still a lot of question marks, but Bears I think will somehow just put on a good, impressive showing. So I think they'll win by 9 again against the Bears this week and will easily cover. And then the Monday night game, Ravens and the Raiders in Las Vegas, almost said Oakland. But I think Ravens, very unfortunately, have lost a lot of running backs, almost really their entire running back room, just to the one injury of a torn ACL during this like last week and a half, 2 weeks. But I like this Raiders team. I do like what this team is heading. Baltimore's 4.5-point favorites in this game. I don't know how they're favored in this game, considering what their running back room is like. But I think that the Raiders will upset them by 7 here and win and cover against the Ravens. That is my predictions for week 1. The betting line tonight provided by Caesars Sportbook. And those are your lines for this week's games. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, have a great night. Have a great week 1 to all the teams out there. And go Chiefs.